Probably not good for their potatoes, though, if they leave them on the counter.
Oh no.
When they leave for the tour and then come back 5 weeks later, their potatoes are probably going to be really bad.
Yeah.
Unless they watch this show, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm going to tell you how you can keep your potatoes fresh for months longer without rotting if you store them in one key area. I know. It seems too good to be true, and it might be, except I'm going to tell you the truth. Unlike Katie in her Illuminati bit earlier,
Yeah.
well, this is going to be true, okay? This comes to us from MSN.com, which, everybody knows they never tell lies, right? Never, ever, ever.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So here's the article. I'll read a little bit about this. You guys are going to learn about potatoes. We learned about bananas the other day, or a couple weeks ago. And and bananas and potatoes are my go-to, so you guys are going to learn about potatoes now. As the balmy days of summer fade, culinarians everywhere are gearing up for the hearty pleasures of stews, soups, and casseroles, which is obviously a fall and autumn much-loved comfort food. And potatoes are important in those comfort foods, especially beef
Yep.
stew. Beef stew is amazing with potatoes. However, how do you keep these versatile veggies from prematurely sprouting? I know you guys might have that problem. You have your potatoes just hanging out waiting for you to cut them up, and they just think they're in a vegetable garden and start growing all haphazardly in your fruit bowl. That's no bueno. Well, Karen Lamar, a storage guru from Organic Cotton Mart, unveils
Hold
a
on.
common. Go ahead.
You keep potatoes in the fruit bowl.
No. Okay. So, maybe. So, technically, potatoes are a fruit. We won't fight. But,
Hold on, look. I will send you a picture of my fruit bowl if you think that's fucking funny. I decorated my fruit bowl because we don't have fruit to go in it.
well, you have
I
to do
put
that.
skulls in it and shit,
There you go.
like a weirdo.
And skulls never go bad, Katie Lynn. They never go bad.
And I have
Skulls.
dead flowers, so they're already dead. It was
Skulls are
intentional.
forever. They're like
Yeah.
STDs. Anyway, so this woman, Karen Lamar, who is a storage guru from the Organic Cotton Mart, unveils a common storage faux pas that keeps potatoes on the kitchen counter near other vegetables. She explains, when it comes to long-term storage, onions and potatoes outlast many others. So why not just store them together in the same place? Well, that might not exactly work because onions release ethylene gas, and the ethylene gas causes potatoes to sprout. So if you have your onions and your potatoes hanging out together in the same area of your abode, your
You're
potatoes
fucked.
are going to grow faster. No bueno.
Yeah.
Which means if you do keep a vegetable garden, then you should maybe throw some onions down there with your potatoes because that will actually help them grow, right? However,
Hmm.
ethylene is a plant hormone that aids in the ripening process and is emitted in spades by onions, garlic, and tomatoes alike. Not ideal companions for your spuds if you want to avoid early sprouting and a damp-induced mold frenzy, reports the
Oh.
Express. To extend the life and freshness of your potatoes, she suggests banishing them to the cool solitude of a dark cupboard or drawer. She cautions against light exposure. It's a good idea to keep the potatoes as far from sunlight as possible. Too much light can trigger greening, tricking the tubers into producing chlorophyll. So essentially what you have to do is you have to trick your potatoes into not thinking they're growing beings anymore.
You have to trick them into thinking they're dead.
That's right. You're a
You have to
dead
die.
potato. Stop trying to live, mother flower.
You're dead walking.
That's right. Stop growing. Anyway, with those kernels of wisdom, your beloved potatoes can outlive their shelf life expectations, thus ensuring that your favorite dishes will remain flawlessly delicious for when the chills creep in. Ooh. So,
Ooh.
it's equally important to steer clear of places with high moisture to save your stock from sprouting and rotting. The solution to this is a dry, dark spot such as your basement, cellar, pantry, or an out-of-the-way kitchen nook. So try to keep your potatoes in a dark and dry place away from onions. And by doing so, you will extend the life of your potatoes by quite a bit. So for my family, for example, we love potatoes because they are a good filling way to get through a meal quickly, right? Like we can make a baked potato, or we can cut them up into home fries. Yeah, exactly. However, you can also find really good deals on potatoes if you look closely enough at some of your farmers markets, and even like your smaller grocery stores like Brookshire Brothers, for example. Like a lot of times they'll have like those 5-pound bags of potatoes for like $1.95 or something. And by God, if they give you a limit of 4 of them bad boys, you should load up on potatoes.
Yeah.
Right? But my family's always like, well, what are we going to do if they go bad? Well, we keep them away from onions and keep them in dark, dry places. And they last longer. And those 5-pound bags of potatoes are usually like $3 or $4. So if you can get them at $1.99 a piece or whatever,
oh yeah,
go after it. But I'm one of those shoppers that like I'll shop for something because I'm in the mood for it at the grocery store. And then when I get it home, I don't want to make it for the next 6 months.
Yeah, I'm the kind of person. I'm kind of like cliquey with food, I guess. I'm like, ooh, I found you. You're new. I like you. And then I'm like, I'm bored of you. And then I'm like, I haven't seen you in a while. What are you doing?
It's very mood-based, isn't it?
Well, but I'll get stuck on things and like only eat that. And then I'm like, fuck you. I don't like you anymore.
Yeah.
And then I go on to something else.
I'm the same way. Like, I love shrimp, but then I hate shrimp.
Yeah, but like I remember I was on a kick of potatoes one time, and I was just eating baked potatoes, and then I was like, "Fuck that! I don't ever want to eat a baked potato out of the microwave ever."
Kumi, we are doing great. Thanks for asking. I hope you are doing well tonight as well. Sorry if I missed your comment. We are kind of getting into this episode quite heavily. But yeah, that is how to save your potatoes from sprouting. And I'll keep it real. Before I read this, we used to keep our potatoes next to our onions, so we're gonna have to stop doing that.
Yeah, my mom actually, props to her. She keeps them in the. Actually, not props to her because it's more. She keeps them in the laundry room.
Ooh.
So but she also keeps them with onions. But there's no windows or anything, so it's dark. So props to her for that.
Yeah, so she's just gonna have to find a different home for the. She's gonna have to find a different home for the onions. That's all.
Put them in a hanging basket because she would have the bag of potatoes, and when I was living there with Ozzy would go grab potatoes and like throw them in the air and shit.
And play with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just sit there and gnaw on it. Yeah.